Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the Real Seekers of Money with your host, myself, Damon J. Brockenberry, the extraordinary Damon the Agent. Happy New Year, you all. Welcome to 2026. I haven't seen you all since last year, but as you all know, my motto, like I always do, I like to hop right into what's the latest news that's going on in the wonderful world of real estate. And today I'm going to be talking about the 2026 DMV housing market update. And this is basically to give you all an insight of what's going on in the market today, because there's a lot going on. So if I talk a little bit too fast, please somebody let me know. I'm going to try not to talk fast, but I have a lot of information to give. Now, what's currently going on right now, because of the government shutdown that was in November, and with the possible government shutdown that could possibly occur if they don't come to an agreement by the end of this month, that leaves a lot of buyers on the fence right now. There are buyers who want to buy, but they're hesitant because they're unsure if they're going to have a job after this month, because it's just iffy and there's no job security right now. So there are a lot of buyers on the fence right now. And then on top of that, since the government shut down, there's been a flood of homes that have come on the market. So that means you have more homes than you actually have buyers right now. So over 30% increase in houses on the market compared to this time last year. So what that's doing right now is creating a supply and demand scenario. But at the same time, though, it's giving one perspective, meaning the buyers is giving them favor in their negotiation. And then when it pertains to sellers, it's leaving a lot of sellers iffy, don't know what's going on because houses are not moving as quickly as they were. So around the region, inventory has increased dramatically, like I just mentioned. And with that being said, the most recent pricing patterns show that in DC, houses are sitting extremely longer, particularly in DC. Now, certain areas still have some good areas where houses, if they're priced right, that they're actually selling, because you have some buyers who actually have done the work and everything. But here's the thing. For sellers, the equity remains strong for many home buyers, but buyers are more selective. Pricing right and preparing your home for sale is very critical. Markets are less frigid, so realistic expectations about timing and offers are important for sellers. Here's basically what that's saying. As a seller, you can't say, oh, let me price my house at this amount and let them negotiate me down. That's what people do on HGTV. That's not in the real world of real estate, especially in the DMV. If you overprice your house, 9 times out of 10, the people who are going to come look at your house are the people who are trying to see how your house compares to another house that they're actually going to buy. Sometimes you have sellers, neighbors, other sellers, neighbors, and people who are just being nosy who want to see why your house is priced so high. That is a poor strategy when it pertains to selling your house. In this current market, truthfully, you should underprice your house, slightly underprice it. I'm not saying significantly. I'm meaning like if your house for your home is $500,000, you shouldn't say, "Oh, let me do $525,000 and let them come down." When the person across the street lists their house for $475,000. So let's say hypothetically they list it for $475,000. You probably need to list yours for $470,000. Okay. Right now, it's all about what's going to get your house sold, because you can say, oh, no, I don't want to give up that type of equity. But here's the thing. The market, and I've said this plenty of times before, the market dictates what your house will sell for, not you. not the buyer. The market, and the market comes back with the appraisal, with the house is valued at. So you may think your house is valued at a certain price point, but here's another thing that people don't pay attention to. The market shifts every 3 to 6 months. It shifts every season. This is why during the spring and summer months that the houses tend to sell better. The winter months, they tend to sit longer because they shift. More people would rather be out when it's warm, sunny, the days are longer to look at houses than when it's cold, freezing, and it gets dark quick. So it's all about timing. Also, it's about pricing and also your house shows. Many people are selling their house and their house is really in fair condition, but they think it's in very good condition. And it doesn't compare to the house that sold 2 years ago. And they think their house is worth more than that house. But at the same time, though, they overprice their house sit on the market. Now, in certain areas in the DMV, we're in a buyer's market. For the buyers, this means more negotiation for buyers. There's more inventory for buyers to choose from. They see their houses have been sitting on the market longer, so they are going to negotiate strategically because they feel like they have more. You know, you still have to base the pricing on neighborhoods because some neighborhoods outperform others. But if you don't pay attention to that neighborhood, this is why in real estate, location, location, location is very critical. If you don't pay attention to the location and everything, then you might be uh, out of luck. You might be just totally out of luck. And I say that because everybody thinks their house is worth better than the neighbors. For example, last this week, there's a house in Suitland, Maryland, priced at $1 million, 1.1, I believe. It is substantially overpriced. The location of the house is terrible. It's on Suitland Road. I know people don't know what the address is, but I'll give it to you. It's 6218 Suitland Road. The house is in a poor, terrible condition. They say 8 bedrooms, but majority of the bedrooms are so small that they look like the size of a walk-in closet. And what I'm saying to you is location, the condition of the homes, pricing, all that determines how well a home sold. That's why there are more. Think about this: over 30% of more houses on the market right now than it was a year ago, but yet less buyers are out there looking for homes because they're fearful of job security. So if you're a seller trying to sell your home, the number one thing you should do is call me because every house I touch turns to sold. Number two, if you don't call me, you need to make sure that you are pricing your house accordingly and correct. Just because your neighbor house sold doesn't mean that your house is better than theirs. Just because you changed the light bulb, just because you cut the grass and did some things. Some people, they don't understand what the value is of home and what buyers are looking at. And that's the thing. As a seller, you're looking at it from a seller's perspective, but you're not looking at it from a buyer's perspective. And then buyers, you have to be strategic as well. Depending on where you go, you can't. The house just came on the market today. Oh, let me offer them 25,000 less and ask them to pay for all of my closing costs. In some areas, you're being ridiculous because a lot of sellers are not going to take that off the top. You have to study the market, study the house, see if that house is priced correctly, if it's overpriced, and then also look at the number of days on market. Because if it's just came on the market within the past 30 days or less, most sellers are not budging on you wanting them to do everything for them off the break. If you want that type of behavior, you got to look at how they've been sitting on the market for a while. Most of those sellers are motivated, but you have to be strategic as well. A lot of buyers, they look at HGTV, they go on Google, they go on Zillow, they go on Redfin, and they think they know everything. They think they know more than agents, but the truth is you're not licensed. You're not licensed, and if you were licensed, I guarantee you, going that route, you wasn't selling that many homes because it doesn't work like what you see on TV. Those are shows. Even though there's some truth in those shows, those are still shows. Reality is what's going on in your market because every market is different. What goes on in Texas doesn't go on in Florida. What goes on in Florida doesn't go on in Maryland. What goes on in Maryland doesn't even go on in DC. And they're right there. So knowing the market is very key when it pertains to stuff. So here's the thing. The housing snapshot for the DMV is there are certain key areas out here. And the key areas are Washington, D.C., Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Charles County, Fairfax County, Alexandria County. So what I'm going to do is, because I went over that, I'm going to go in. I have my Q&A, my questions and answers, and then one of my Q&A, someone asked that question, so I'm gonna break some of the stuff down in that. So right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to go into the home of the week. Here's the home of the week, y'all. All right, here we go. Home of the week right here, you all, is this is a townhouse in Crofton, Maryland. This is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It is well priced, under 400,000. It's actually priced at $380,000. It's been well taken care of. Check out the hardwood floors, the lighting, the detail, the attention to details, the, the chandelier, recessed lighting in the kitchen. It's gas stove. It comes with a deck, 2 parking spaces. Like I mentioned, that's the dining room area. There's the deck. It is 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, priced at $380,000. This is perfect for a small family, a first-time home buyer, or even an investor who would like to get a rental property and just rent it out in a great, great, great neighborhood in Crofton, Maryland, which is in Anne Arundel County. Look at that bathroom. Look at the attention to detail. If you would like more details about this property, please reach out to me. Let me know. We can schedule a showing. All right. All right. So I'm going to get into my Q&A, which is my questions and answers. And like I said, on one of the questions and answers that I had asked that I was looking at prior to me coming on was dealing with what's going on in the DMV market. So again, let me begin. This is the Q&A. The first question is, what are homeowners exemptions? What are homeowners exemptions? This is great. Homeowners exemptions, often called homestead or principal resident exemptions. They reduce the taxable assessed value of a property if you live in it as your primary resident. Now, you do have to keep that in mind that you must occupy the home as your primary resident to qualify. Investment properties and second homes do not qualify. The second question, if my name is on the deed but not the loan, am I a first-time home buyer when I refinance? If my name is on the deed but not the loan, am I a first-time home buyer when I refinance? The answer to that is usually no, but most cases it is no. And let me explain why. Most first-time home buyers are defined as someone who has not owned residential real estate in the last 3 years. Being on the deed equals home ownership. And if you never signed a mortgage, you never made a payment, you were never financially liable on the loan. Some local or grant-based programs look at mortgage history, not ownership, but this is rare and program specific. So as a rule of thumb, it's always best to speak with a lender who can tell you what's specifically going on. And I would strongly recommend a local lender, not a big bank, not Navy Federal, not Bank of America, none of those, because they're not locally. So they cannot tell you if if the property qualifies for any specific programs. If you go through one of the big banks, 9 times out of 10, they don't have any programs to offer a first-time home buyer. Always double check. But again, the answer is usually no on that, because like I said, being on the deed equals ownership. And that's what the programs look at, ownership. Number 3, if I inherited a home through a trust, do I have to live in it? If I inherited a home through a trust, do I have to live in it? No, not automatically. It depends on how the trust is structured and set up. Now, common scenarios, revocable living trust, you can live in it, rent it, or sell it. Irrevocable trust may restrict occupancies, rental, or sale. Life estate trust may not occupy until the life tenant passes. What matters most is the trust language, whether you are a beneficiary or a trustee. Any occupancy restrictions written into the trust. You have to always review the trust with an estate attorney before moving in or renting. The fourth question, and this is the one that I was saying that was similar to what I was talking about the market. This one asks, the DMV is saturated with townhouses. Are there new single family home communities in the area? Again, I'm going to repeat this question. The DMV is saturated with townhomes. Are there any new single family home communities? And that's a great question because I get asked that a lot. And a key word is new. Okay. So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about new because there are single family homes everywhere, but I'm talking about new. And the answer to this is yes, but they're relatively selective and further out of the beltway. So depending on where you live at, they're not inside the beltway, they're further out of the beltway. And I'm going to give some specific newer single family development hotspots. And I know you all know this one because a lot of people from DC are actually moving down in Charles County. So in Charles County, Waldorf and White Plains have some newer single family development hotspots. In Upper Marlboro and Brandywine, Prince George's County. That's in Prince George's County. Upper Marlboro and Brandywine are the other hot spots for the newer single family development. Loudoun County, which is in Virginia, Frederick County, which is in Maryland, and Stafford County, which is in Virginia. These are the 5 areas in the DMV with newer single family development. Again, I'm going to repeat them. Charles County, Waldorf, and White Plains. Prince George's County, Upper Marlboro, and Brandywine, Maryland. Loudoun County in Virginia. Frederick County in Maryland. And Stafford County in Virginia. Now, understand all of these places that I named are relatively outside of the Beltway. They are further from DC. So, yes, if you're looking for a newer single family development hotspot, these are it. Reality check is closer in areas, townhouses, because a lot of developers feel like they can put more homes in a tighter space. But if you're looking for parking, if you're the type who like to entertain, if you know you need a single family home and you prefer newer, those are the area. And here's another key pitch. I can help you with those newer developments as well. Just send me a message and reach out to me, and I would be glad to help you. Okay. Someone said 1.2 million for anything in Suitland is criminal. Yes, but if you go, the address again is 6218 Suitland Road. For those of you who wanted to know the address, that's it. It's not worth a million. It's not even worth close to a million. And I'm giving my professional opinion. That house will sit for a while. And if someone does buy, trust me, they don't know the value of the area. And it's in a bad area. It's direct. If you all are familiar with Suitland Road by Suitland Parkway, and it's a 7-Eleven that's on the right. If you're passing Suitland Road, the house is on the left. Once you pass the 7-Eleven, look to your left. It's right there. You can barely get up the driveway. You're going to have a problem getting there. That's going to cause accidents. So again, that's not a good area. Okay. And then number 5 question is, what areas are the current, I just named this, but again, what areas are the current hotspots market in the DMV? And basically, the ones that I just named was on this list, but I'm going to say it: buyer plus appreciation sweet spots. Now, the sweet spots and the appreciation is basically if you buy a home, it doesn't have to be brand new home. If you buy a home and if you're looking for appreciation in the upcoming years, Prince George's County gives the best affordability and growth potential. There's a lot going on in Prince George's County if you're totally unaware. There's a lot of growth going on in PG County. Charles County is good for new construction and commuter buyers, meaning there's a lot of people who commute to downtown DC, to even Baltimore, because of the cheap taxes and the cheap houses. You get more for your money in some areas in Charles County. Frederick Maryland is a tech spillover and a lifestyle demand in that area. Loudoun County, Virginia, data centers and strong schools. If you really want some of the best schools, Loudoun County has it. And Alexandria, Virginia, have long-term stability and the proximity value, meaning it's centrally located near everything. It's right. Alexandria is right across from DC. It's also not too far from the National Harbor, and also it's a direct route straight down into um, Frederick County and all of Virginia. Now, here's the thing: slower slash more negotiable right now. I mentioned Washington D.C. Washington, D.C. has slowed down tremendously because it's saturated with a lot of government workers. People are on the fence about buying because of job security. So those are it. And then here's the last question of today. Do you need a real estate agent when buying auction properties, land, or new construction? Do you need a real estate agent when buying auction properties, land, or new construction? Here's the answer. Legally, no. Practically, often yes. Or you're flying in blind. Okay? You're flying in blind if you don't know. Here's the thing. It will cost you money, not because of the price of the home, the price of the land, but it will be because of the unknown baggage and legal baggage, and what you don't know will cost you. It is cheaper to hire a real estate professional to assist you with buying land, auction, or new construction than it is for you to always go on your own. Don't get me wrong. There are people who have done this on their own. But in many cases, here's what the study is. Over 65 to 70% of the cases, people have spent more money or lost money because they didn't hire. Sometimes you think paying for something is the best route to go, but it's not. What you need to understand is when you hire a professional, you're paying for peace of mind. It's like you're going into a court of law without a lawyer. When you go into a court of law without a lawyer, the judges already feel disrespected. This is what I learned years ago. No matter if you got all the evidence in the world, they feel disrespected just because you showed up without a lawyer and you think you know it all. So sometimes things don't go in your favor when you feel like it should go in your favor. When you got all the evidence, it's about paying for the principal and peace of mind. Sometimes you can't afford it. So I get it. But in real estate, if you can afford to buy the property, 9 times out of 10, you can afford to pay a real estate professional. Because if you have a good real estate professional, they can negotiate, especially in this market, to get you some of that money back. So here's a breakdown in what I just said. Okay, I'm gonna summarize it. Let me go to it. Homeowner exemptions. You must live in a home. You save thousands of dollars. Does not apply to rentals or investment. If you're a first-time home buyer, if you're on the deed but not the loan, you're a first-time home buyer, usually no. Most first-time home programs look at ownership, not whether you had a mortgage or not. If you inherit a home through a trust, you have to live in it. Not necessarily. You may be able to live in it, rent it, sell it. It depends on the type of trust, the language in the trust, and whether you're a beneficiary or trustee. DMV has a tons of townhouses. What's the hot spots? Prince George's County, Charles County, Frederick County, Loudoun County, Virginia, Stafford County, Virginia. And what are the hottest areas to buy in the DMV? Prince George's County, Charles County, Frederick, Maryland, Loudoun County, Alexandria, Virginia. DC right now, it's kind of iffy. And do you need a real estate agent when you buy auction, land, or new construction? Legally, no. Smart financially, yes. If you want to be smart financially, yes. Okay, I'm going to come back with my topic of the day, and then we're going to get up out of here because I'm not going to hold you. Now, in the beginning, I forgot to mention this, but if you're not following me on all social media platforms, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. On all of them, I am #Damon the Agent. On Pinterest, I am Agent Damon. Now, here's the thing. My topic of the day is basically simple, and I'm not going to even stay long. Organization. It's a new year, y'all. It's 2026. We have to all get focused and we all need to get organized. One thing I've realized with so many of us that time takes up majority of our day. By the time you look up, it's the end of the day. It's dark outside. You wonder where have time gone? You have not gotten anything accomplished. Part of it is lack of discipline and lack of focus. We have to all focus better and we have to be more disciplined and structural in order to accomplish more. One thing I've realized about being unorganized is it costs you money and money adds up. So if you want to save money, if you want to create money, you need to create a better focus with you in order to get organized in this year. Because one of the things about me is I've been totally in the past, I was unorganized in reference to paying my taxes. It's not that I didn't have the money, I just didn't pay them because you know, when the bill came, I was like, oh, I'm gonna pay it next time, and next time came, and then next thing you know, next year came. And what I'm saying to you is my lack of focus, lack of not being organized cost me money. So one of the things that I got focused on was getting more organized and more focused. And I'm trying to help you all as well in this new year. If you haven't, go to Staples, go to Walmart, get you a little portfolio, the calendar one. If you use your phone, also do your calendar on your phone. Look in there, write stuff down. Being organized is the key, y'all, because I'm telling you from my past, because even though I got sidetracked with that, I've always been organized where I wrote things down. And I'm trying to tell you, just like in the Bible when it said, make the vision plain, simple. When you write it down, it does something as far as going into the universe. So for you, I want in 2026 for us all to get focused, all to get organized. Because here's the thing, we can't afford to be unorganized because it's costing something. If it's not costing you cash, it's costing you focus. If it's not costing you focus, it's costing you losing something. It's just like the saying says, if you ever looked inside someone's house or in their car, you can tell what's going on in their mind. And a lot of times it's a lot of confusion. And there's so much confusion going on in the world today. Sometimes, did you ever think about some of the confusion that's going on in your life is because certain things are not organized? And if it's not organized, get it organized. The time we spend on social media strolling, we can take some of that time and spend straightening up, getting organized, getting focused, putting stuff on the calendar, putting reminders on our calendar. Hey, I'm just here to help. And that's why I shared part of my information because we all human, we all go through it. So I thank each and every one of you all for joining me. Let me do a quick recap. And then as I do my recap, I'm going to let y'all go because guess what, y'all? It's the weekend and it's the new year. So I'll be right back. All right, y'all, real quick. So I talked about the 2026 housing market. Here's the summary of it all. Sellers, stop overpricing. At the same time, please take into consideration that just like you put your house on the market, you're competing against 10 other people who put their house on the market. So you have to be smart enough to understand if you want your house sold because there are less buyers right now because a lot of buyers are sitting on the fence, then you need to strategically be smart. Or just call me, call, text, or email me. I have a marketing plan that works. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. This will be my 21st year, y'all. Hey, God is good. Hey, so at the same time, for buyers, please be smart. You have a lot of leverage right now, a lot of negotiation power, but at the same time, don't don't get cocky. Don't become arrogant because I've seen buyers even in this market not get a property and they wonder why. And guess what? Sometimes it's not the agent like some people like to blame. It's a buyer who thought that they watch HGTV and things supposed to work out that way instead of listening to the professional. And I want to summarize this when it pertains to the hotspots in the DMV, Charles County, Prince George's County, Loudoun County, Stafford County, Alexandria, Virginia. Okay? Those are the hotspots. Listen, I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to join me each and every Friday at 12 noon. Again, if you are not following me on social media, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And all you have to do is hashtag Damon the Agent, except on Pinterest is Agent Damon. I'm going to send you out on my commercial.
We sure could use the money.
Time for some upgrades. We're pregnant.
Oh my goodness, I need to downsize.
We buy houses for cash as is.
Damon the Agent. A name you can trust.
Hey, y'all, I like that commercial. Every time I look at that commercial, I smile. Look, thank you all for joining me. I will see you all soon. And reach out to me if you need to. DamonTheAgent.com. My number is 240-694-6460. And you can always find all of my live on YouTube, y'all. Please share this with someone that you know because the information is important. Thank you. You all have a great day, great weekend. See you soon.